Okay, so let's get on to the tube rivet. So I have my tube material here, and I already used the drill gauge plate, and I found that this fit in a 41 drill bit. And so I already used the drill press to drill that hole. It's a little bit more steady. As you go up with these drill bits, it'll be easier to just use the drill press. Okay, so I need to measure again. And the same measurement, measuring strategy, where I am going to leave the thickness of the metal on both sides. I'm going to get my tube cutting jig again. Line up my line. So there's my tube. Just gonna kind of get any burrs off the end. Okay. There's a lot of ways to set tubes. I often do use an assist for the shape. So I have grabbed a dapping punch. We have a whole set of scrap, not scrap, but you know, very used dapping punches that we use for this purpose. So I like to ask a dapping punch to kind of start me out here. And that's just going to help you flare it out to get it started. And you see that I use this quite a bit. A lot of the times whenever I'm riveting, it's the very final step. And so I really do like to make sure that that's all really cleaned up. And then I'm going to use the round nose to set my material over and mushroom it over. So there we have our tube rivet. And it's just kind of an aesthetic choice whether you hammer it down well. Okay, there's a tube rivet. We're done. So that was quick. Okay, so now we need to do the tube rivet with the spacers. So on this, I like to start with the spacers and like to measure, you know, how thick I really want the spacers to be first, because then I'm going to have to put the riveting material. So we're going to use the same riveting material, which is the thinner tube, and right now I'm cutting the spacer, which is the thicker one. There's one. If you do spacers, you know, more than two would be even better for stability. I just have two here, but you'll kind of see how it goes. Okay, so there we go. So we have our two spacers ready. Again with the nicks, always getting the nicks. And I might even need my round nose needle file to get the nick out of the middle. So I'm getting any of that excess metal off. Okay. So there I have my spacers. Now I'm going to put my material through. I'm going to put my spacer on. I'm going to put my other piece of material through. And same thing, I'm going to push that sandwich down. Measure, squish that sandwich together. Go back to my tube jig. And I need to cut 2 of these. Which one? Cutting through tubing is a little bit harder because you're cutting through a vacuum of air. So the tube cutting jig is actually doing a lot of work to stabilize it for you. So if you don't have one of those, you can score a line in your bench pin that can act as a way to level out your tube. But they are a little trickier to cut, so don't be annoyed if you wonder, like, why is this so hard? It is hard. There's like a little vacuum of air that you're cutting through, so same thing, getting all the little nicks off of my material. Okay, and I'm ready to go. Okay, so we have our tubes, we have our spacers, okay. Now, these are a little bit easier to do if you have a partner kind of hold your piece. Sometimes if I have something really special, I might have them hold my work on a dapping punch or on a stone setting tool. So you might need some help. Main thing is keeping it straight up and down. Use your chasing hammer that already has the marks on it for hitting on the steel tool. And I'm hitting straight down. And hopefully just starting to set those rivets. You saw that I pulled a needle file. I just had like a little bitty burr on the inside there. So same thing, straight down. And again, you could go straight with the hammer. I find that this makes for a really clean start to my rivet, so I really like to use the dapping punches. Okay. I went a little bit farther than halfway on this one, so just kind of knocking those back to the other side. Okay, and that's it. So there I have my spacers, so you can kind of see from the side there. And that one's done. So standard rivet, tube rivet, hidden rivet, tubing with spacers. That's all.